Okay. There he goes. Boop, boop.
It's start of day 2. Probably hear that music in the background. That was the fun campers next to me that decided to play that crap until about 3 a.m. While setting up their camp at 3 a.m. and splitting firewood. So that was fun. Pissed down rain pretty much for about 4 o'clock yesterday. Everything is soaked. I've just wrung all the blood out of my socks from the leeches that got on me yesterday. Boots are soaked. Clothes are soaked from yesterday. Everything else is dry, which is good. Nice warm night. Big climb today. Heading up to Mount Erica. So I've got to cross this first thing in the morning. Lucky my boots are already soaked. So close, so far, and it's starting to sleet, snow sort of thing. Fun times. Hey, if I could feel my feet, it'd be beautiful. But I haven't been able to feel my toes for an hour and a half. There we go. Almost the top. There we are, Mount Erica. That's pretty decent. 1,200 meters of elevation gain today. In 13 Ks. That's steep. It's only midday ish, so I'll try and find a campsite soon before it gets worse. Well, it's the start of day 3. I've been in my tent for about 15 hours. According to Bureau of Meteorology, there's been 24 millimeters of rain here overnight, which is pretty gross. With the high winds and the snow and stuff, the apparent temperature has been -8, so it's been a bit crisp. Got a bit of a headache because it was too cold to drink water. It was bloody freezing, and I didn't want to waste too much gas this early in the trip. Everything's soaked. The big raindrops falling from the trees above, every time they hit the tent, it sprays a little bit of water on me from condensation. Yeah, everything's just, my boots, they're beyond wet. Looked at the track this morning and it's basically a creek, so no point trying to stay dry. I just have to gear myself up to put on all that soaking wet clothing again. Joy. Off to Stronach today, hopefully 6-7 hours walking. Fingers crossed it's a bit warmer in the valley and it doesn't rain tonight, because yeah, I need to dry out soon. Here we are walking between Talbot Hut Site and the rock shelter. About a K in, K and a half. It's taken me 20 minutes to be able to feel my fingers again after packing up the tent as it tried to snow. Not much fun at all. The tent is absolutely soaked. Yeah, hopefully it's a little bit drier off the plateau. Otherwise, it's looking forward to that hunter's hut up at Fiddler's Green in 2 days. At least it'll be warmer in the valleys and hopefully a little bit drier than this. It's actually not too bad once you're moving. As soon as you stop, it's bloody freezing. The bomb was saying top of 2 forecast for today, I think, or 3. But with the wind, that's bringing it down to like -6. So it's pretty crisp. Though most of the snow melted overnight, there's been at least 25 mil of rain since yesterday morning. That was on top of everything that came through the day before, which is why the track probably looks like a creek, and why I have no hope in hell of having dry feet anytime soon. I'll try and get in the valley as quickly as possible today. With any luck, there might be some dry timber around. I can start a little bit of a fire, try and dry a few things a little bit, or at least put the tent up and hope it doesn't rain so it dries out a bit. And it might even be warm enough for me not to sit inside it for 15 hours like I did overnight. Fingers crossed. Despite the wet, it's actually a pretty beautiful country. If only the sun would pop out for a bit and make my bloody day. Haven't seen it for 2 days. Just this claggy, misty, drizzly, sleety, whatever you want to call it-ness. turns this into a bit of a mission rather than something that's enjoyable. To be honest, I prefer snow than this wet. At least then the gauges keep it out of your boots. And that scrunching sound rather than a splashing sounds kind of nice. Time to get muddy. Early in the morning for that. Yesterday it was a wet boot river crossing. Today it's just a wet boot track. Joy of joys. It was like being back in Tassie. A wet day on the overland track. At least they got boardwalks on that now. Or up on Mount Field in winter. Some of the muddy sections of that trail like this. What annoys me a bit is that all this down after all that up yesterday. I haven't even reached the highest point on the plateau yet. So, nice easy start to the day. That's going to be a fun uphill section. At least it's only like 300 or 400 meters of climbing today. Maybe a third of what I did yesterday. And it's on pretty good track too. None of that overgrown, kind of muddy, slippery, blackberry-ish stuff from yesterday. I saw my legs when I was getting changed this morning. There's just like cuts and grazes everywhere. Spots from the leeches getting on me. No blisters yet, so the boots are good despite being soaking wet. Poured water out of one of them this morning. But I think they're won't be wearing these boots to work again after this trip. They're going to be stinky. Real stinky. Hopefully I get a dry day in a day or two on the roads where I can put on the trail shoes. Give the feet a bit of a change from this wet crap. Put on some dry socks, dry shoes. And 2k's down, 20k's to go. Flying along at the moment. 4.5k an hour. No bad clip. But it has pretty much all been downhill. I should say 4.5k an hour is a pretty good clip when you can't feel your feet. We'll qualify that one a little bit. Though I am starting to be able to wiggle my toes again, which is something. Just keep pushing hard today, try and keep the warmth up. Then get into the dry gear when I get to camp. And hopefully get a fire going. So, looking at how wet everything is, I got my doubts. I might be lucky. To be honest, I just take temperatures over 5 degrees and not raining. I'm just thinking of all those people sitting at home enjoying their public holiday, Easter Monday, sitting on a warm couch, eating the last of the hot cross buns. I don't know, this is actually, it's pretty good. I would take a warm hot cross bun right now. There's something beautiful about walking through snow gums in a mist. Like I said, just wish it was a little bit warmer. And when you can feel the cold sweat running down the inside of your jacket and your pants, it's not a particularly pleasant feeling. There's only one trick there. Just keep on walking to stay warm. It's mountain range, feel like. It's a bit cold up here. Just smashed out from camp, from Talbot Hut side to here in an hour and 55, so I'm moving quickly so that I don't freeze. Still about 14 k's to camp. I'm going to try and do it, or at least get out of the snow as quickly as possible. So I'm just about to head off the Ball Plateau. This is in between Whitelaw's hut and Stronach's. So, oh Jesus, about 8 k's to go till I get to camp. I feel like I've been going through a car wash. All this scrubbing stuff over the track. The rain pants are absolutely soaked through. So I won't need a shower anytime soon. Not that I was planning on it for another week and a half, but definitely don't now. Track's still pretty easy to follow. Haven't really had to use the GPS to find the track. It's just handy to know how far it is to camp, how much more of this to put up with. But looking out to my left side, it looks like the plateau kind of starts to end there, so fingers crossed that's the way the track's going. Start to lose some height, get out of this mist. Maybe the sun will come out. Not counting on it. I reckon Mount Ball is up there as one of the coldest places I've been. Come up here skiing in winter and it blows this awful wet, misty, drizzly crap everywhere and it's bloody freezing. And here we are, early April, same thing. This kind of reminds me of Tassie. I think that's kind of like a myrtle or a beach of some sort. It's what looked like Scoparia further back along the track too. A bit reminiscent of Pine Valley on the overland track. It's the final couple of 100 meters into Stronach's camp. It's amazing how quickly it changed from the up on the plateau. Instantly a couple of degrees warmer, barely any wind, the sun even peaked out before, so I've got my fingers crossed to get some blue sky this afternoon. I'm really looking forward to eating something pretty soon too, because I decided that it was best to push on right over the top of the plateau rather than stopping for food, so I didn't get too cold. So, oh, I see blue sky. First time in 2 days. So yeah, really looking forward to something to eat because 23k on some porridge and a coffee and one little gel pack. Pretty tough, especially when it's bloody freezing. So 2 cup of soups today. And flatbreads, tin pate, and like an Indian curry rice for dinner. Good times. I don't know how many times I've tripped over the stringy bark and branches stuck in the track, hidden by ferns and stuff like this. Just trying to keep count, but it's way too many. It's a beautiful little spot in here with these trees and the ferns. Guarantee it's full of leeches. This was too cold for mozzies and leeches last night. Maybe not tonight. There we go.
Smashed it. I love it says 21 k's because my watch has this 23.35, which I've just done in 5 hours and 45 minutes. Time to set up camp.
Here we are, day 4. Today I'll be going from Stronach through to Blue Jacket. So about another 20 something k day. Bit of a climb in the middle, about what I did yesterday. But a lot of today's on roads, which is nice. And judging by how things are looking, I can actually see blue sky, which is great. I've actually been able to get out of the tent this morning and not have to cook in the tent. I'm going to take it pretty easy this morning, because seeing as I can see blue sky, that means I might be able to dry some stuff a little bit before I head off. But it also means I could just wear that dirty stuff today and probably dry it while I walk, which might not be pleasant, but hey, for the greater good. This is actually quite a nice campsite. I don't know if where I camped is strictly legal, but there's a camper's campsite behind a locked gate, which isn't the greatest campsite at all. The damp in the forest. There's one across the road which is signed no camping, and then I found this spot which is just across the road, but there was no sign here, so I'm going to take that as I can camp here. There's evidence that someone here's had a fire at some point and has used it as a camping spot too. I didn't light a fire. I figured that was a little bit too far. Plus it did start raining last night. Just light drizzle, which is nice. And the wind died down too, which was great. It ended up being a dead still night. So I've woken up listening to all the birds and stuff this morning, which is beautiful. Whip birds and all sorts of things around. So it looks like today's going to be a pretty good day.
This is just after start, day 4. Left Stronach camp about 5-10 minutes ago. Didn't know the condition of this track and chucked all the wet weather gear back on. A bit of a scrub bash in places. But all of a sudden, you wouldn't pick it, but there's a boardwalk. Love it. There's just a little walking track section between Thompson Valley Road and the Upper Thompson track, and then the Trig Point track. Little shortcut, I think. The first climb for the day, and test out the knees. A bit sore after yesterday. Yeah, maybe pushed a little bit too hard, but I didn't get hypothermia, so whoa, it's always a good thing. I like the rude awakening, wet bush dizzy when it slapped you in the face, just like that. Fun times. Tiny little track mark on a tree up ahead, always a good sign. I have stuck the GPS on today, just for this bit, just to be sure. There's clearly lots of animals active around here too, digging up the track. Makes it a bit hard to follow sometimes. Those little orange triangles go a long way. Such different walking to yesterday. The sun's trying to break through as well, which makes it a bit steamy, but I'll take that over frozen like yesterday. Fortunately, I didn't get any sun on the tent this morning, so I couldn't really dry anything. But I'm wearing on my wet gear today, and I'll just strip off as it dries so I get warm on the track. Right, it doesn't rain, that is. Hopefully everything will be pretty dry by the end of the day. So here we are, I've just come out of the bush. Track marker's kind of over there. There's a bloody big tree that's come down. So now the track's actually over here. So about 3 meters past it. there's a little pink flagging tape just in the bush that kind of makes it a bit easier. Or there's this nice big clearing opposite. Just running the water out of my shoes, taking off all the waterproofs, which aren't waterproof anymore, just waterlogged. And I'm now walking in shorts and a t-shirt, back to what I started in. So I think I've got about 8 or 9 k's of road bash to hit kind of Eastern Dam and the Log Bridge crossing, which doesn't sound interesting, but this is a beautiful forest. Oh, that sun, bloody magnificent. I reckon I might actually get my shirt dry today. Give my my legs a chance to dry out as well. We're in those waterlogged waterproofs for too long. There's a lot of birds around. Haven't seen any other wildlife. Scared the crap out of what I think were a bunch of lyrebirds before. Oh, it's just beautiful. Except for all the blackberries. They're everywhere out here. Oh, there's nasty cuts on my arm from getting caught up in one the other day that I didn't realise was a blackberry. The thorns scratched the shit out of the bit that wasn't covered. Worse than that though, there's a dead tree fern. I got stuck in front of one foot, pushed through, and it grabbed the back of my other calf and ran across it like a bit like a saw blade, and so it's done a number on the back of my calf. So hopefully that dries out a bit today. Anyway, check in again later. So I'm walking along here. This is the Trig Point track, and this area is slated for a planned burn, a fuel reduction. You see all the big logs are over there, and the area's been logged before. I find it bizarre that there's restrictions on camping through here. Like, they seem quite strict, yet logging goes on, people drive vehicles through here, and then they're gonna torch all the undergrowth as a fuel reduction thing to protect Melbourne's water supply. Seems a bit bizarre to me, but that's just my thought. Still beautiful, lets the sun through. Glass half full. Nice easy walking at the moment too. It's great after the last couple of days. And I know there's a big climb this afternoon up Mount Eastern, where I drop back down the other side into the Jordan River Valley. And another big one tomorrow, up to Mount Victor. And first food drop. Some yummy treats in there. I wouldn't think saying spam is yummy, but I reckon spam, curry, chocolate biscuits, a couple cans of beer. Looking forward to that. This is the Thompson River camping area. I wouldn't stay here. Just saw my first snake up on the track before. Don't know what it was. Kind of Didn't look like a tiger. So anyway, I'm on high alert for snakes at the moment, especially near the water. There's the log bridge up there. Or if there's a better way to get to it. I don't really like the idea of bashing through blackberries. Especially when I know there's snakes around. Go. See a little pad through here. Right, there we go. I see the bridge. So if you're looking for it, big burnt tree like this. Not that that narrows it down much. There's a couple of them, almost in a row. There's not really a path to it yet. I'm sure it'll form eventually. Kind of a bit in the grass there, but not much. Still on the lookout for snakes. And here we go. Thompson River Bridge. This would be a much better campsite. I'm going to fill up my water here before I head up Eastern. So I'm just about to start heading up Eastern. That track is seriously steep. I don't know who they put behind the controls of a dozer, but they need help. So about halfway up the Eastern Trail from Thompson River. I've climbed steep stuff before, but this is next level. I reckon there's bits there that are 1 in 3. Like, I'm turning into interval training. Minute of walking, 30-second rest. Or to the next kind of slightly level spot. It's, this thing is brutal. The camera probably doesn't do it justice, but that is damn steep. Just turned off onto the Casper Creek track, dropping down to Blue Jacket for the night. About 4 k's to go. I'm pretty sure it's all downhill. I sure as hell hope it's not as steep as this is. Otherwise my knees are going to be a bit sore, I think, especially after coming down that stupidly steep trig point track this morning. Here we go again. Just coming down the Casper Creek Trail, last 1.5 k's or so. It's steep, but there's a view, and the weather's held. It looks like we might get showers maybe tonight or tomorrow. That's all right. Down, down. Could be coals out.
So it's day 5 now. Camped a blue jacket overnight. Yesterday was a big day. Legs are pretty sore, as are the feet. Off to Fiddler's Green today, so another big climb. I think I'll probably just take the road the whole way. Just because it's just started raining, so I don't want to get absolutely soaked in the bush. I'd rather just stay on the road, I think. It's an extra couple of k's, but probably easier walking. And probably not as steep, because yesterday was a bit of a killer. Yeah, thought I was going to get to pack up in the drive, but nope. It is raining again. Joy of joys. Hopefully it's only just a little passing shower, but the sky's pretty grey. So, who knows? At least there's a hut to sleep in tonight, if no one else is using it. Up at Fiddler's Green. Bit of a weird hunter's hut, but I'll take it. Give me a chance to dry everything out. Anyway, I'll have some breakfast.
Walking up to the top of Mount Victor. It's a bit eerie, but beautiful at the same time. It's really beautiful up here, but it's kind of spooky with this mist. So it's still near the top of Mount Victor. There's a couple of people I've been walking with today. I think they stopped just for a quick break and they just disappeared in the mist. Took about 2 minutes and they were gone. Oh, sure, I'll see them again tonight. I also imagine there'd be some pretty spectacular views here if we went in the clouds. So, the Walhalla Matlock Road walking on now. Just dropping down from Mount Victor. It's a nice, easy road to walk on. It's great, just kind of take in the atmosphere. Just, yeah, still spooky, but also beautiful. I think if the birds weren't singing, it would be, yeah, a bit weird.
So it's the start of day 5 or day 6. Can't actually remember which one it is now. Heading from Fiddler's Green down to Black River, like close to Fiddler's Green. Stayed at this little kind of hunter's hut overnight, which is good. Bit of sleep. Got a fire going eventually. It was looking like it was going to be a nice day today, but it's now started drizzling and raining. I was going to try and dry my boots on the outside of my pack, but that might not happen. So, yeah, about 15 k's I think to Black River. Camp there, and then a big climb out tomorrow to Rump Saddle. Then it's into the interesting bit.
Where are you going?
Oh yeah, you're on camera now.
Sorry?
You're on camera emerging from the mist.
So I've just finished the walk down from near Fiddler's Green down to Black River. The campsite's about, I don't know, 100, 200 metres up the hill. Tired today. Don't think I slept very well last night. There were a few mice in the hut where we stayed, and yeah, I think I woke up every hour or two during the night. But it was nice to be indoors and dry. This river's beautiful. It's a nice little spot. I think it's the last big river for quite a while, so it's a good chance to brave the icy water and wash a little bit. Because I know when you smell yourself, you know it's time for a wash.
Do the split sideways across the log.
Yeah, I'll have to.
Not the other way. Holy shit.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
It's not very deep, don't fall. You got this.
I'm honestly tempted to take my shoes off.
Just sit down and butt scoot.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
I think going sideways like that's actually quite a good idea.
I'm just going to scoot across my butt and get dirty.
It looks like... Is it less slippery on that side?
Yeah. No. Just as bad. If someone tries to take a knife and add some top corrugations into it,
It's probably made it worse.
but I can't say it feels like it's made a difference. Oh, this is sick.
I'm glad I put my rain pants on.
There's a little sharp, knobbly bit in the middle coming up. So I've just reached the top of Mount Shillinglaw. That was 4.5 k's of pretty brutal climbing, and I am ready for lunch. And today's kind of the first real sunny day, so I'm looking out for snakes. I have a feeling they're going to be out today. Still got 10 k's into Rump Saddle, which is kind of demoralising because it's taken nearly 3 hours to get out of that valley. So, lunch and then onwards. So here at Rump Saddle this morning, it's a beautiful night last night, but the winds have really picked up, and the weather forecast for the next couple of days isn't great. Strong winds, quite a bit of rain, so I was going to try and camp high up near Mount Macdonald tonight. I think I'm going to scratch that plan and stay at Low Saddle instead, and then try for a bigger day either tomorrow or the day after to get into Vallejo Gantner Hut. Bit of a bummer. I was looking forward to staying up high, but if the wind's this strong down here, I'd hate to think what it is up on top of the ridgeline. So it makes today a bit of a shorter day. According to the guidebook, about 7 hours walk, but I reckon it'll be a little bit less than that. But it means I've got a big one coming up in the next 2 days to get in for my food drop. Otherwise I'm going to be really hungry. And there's not a lot of water along this next section either. So it's pretty important. So yeah, off to Low Saddle today. So this is going down the Mount McKinty fire trail. Someone's had some fun on their 4-wheel drive. bits and pieces of cars all over these trails. I reckon by the time I get to Canberra, probably put it together half a car. Hubcaps, snatch straps, bits and pieces, mud flaps, an alternator. It's not easy to walk down. It's kind of slippery. All these little bits of stone just roll out underneath your feet, and it kills the knees. Probably wouldn't want to go down this in a car either. Yeah, anyone want a free Land Cruiser mud flap? It's there. I'm glad this is dry. That's the only good thing about this today. It's dry. If it was wet, my God, it'd be slippery as all hell. Like tomorrow, it's supposed to rain quite a bit overnight and into tomorrow. I was going to try and get to Mount McDonald and camp high tonight, and fill up water at Low Saddle, then camp high. But with the severe weather warning that's come through for very strong winds, and my little tent just getting battered at Rump Saddle in half that, so half what's predicted. So I'm going to stay low, just try and push the Ks tomorrow on Monday. Get into Gantner Hut. Next food drop. There are a couple of very, very yummy beers in that one. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I've also put in two relatively short days into my itinerary after that. So it gives me a bit to play around with the weather. Or I could take a rest day, because it's coming up to the section over the Viking, which a little bit dubious about. I figure I've made it this far. How much harder could that be? Yeah, I know there's a rock chute and chimney, but do a fair bit of rock climbing, just not with the pack on. So we'll see what happens. Otherwise, it's a bit of scramble around the side, I think, to find another way up. And then it's more just four-wheel drive tracks and stuff through to Hotham. And man, I am looking forward to that shower. I pity anyone I come across. Not even the mozzies are biting me anymore. Doesn't look too bad going up. It's a lot worse looking down. Problem is on this walk, what goes down tends to go straight back up the other side. Funnily enough, I'm kind of looking forward to just getting past Mount McDonald and a couple of those ones, because then all the climbs are just onto peaks rather than this kind of drop down and wander between stuff. Following a nice high ridgeline, some good views. It'll be pretty spectacular, I think. I've walked most of the cross cut before. Thought it was pretty tough back then, but that was about 5 years ago. So, actually no, more, 7, 8 years ago. So I reckon that was a 2-night trip, and at that point my pack was heavier than it is now. So I'll be interested to see how that goes this time. I feel by that point it's another 3 or 4 days in. It's 10 days of walking every day. The pack fitness and trail fitness should be there. I'm finding everything a lot easier. I just get tired. Like, oh, there's some more car parts. Free to a good home. Another mud flap. So transmission. Right. Yeah, Someone's had a bad day. More bits down there. Oh well. I said, not too far off a car. I'm not even a third of the way through yet. And I'm gonna have to go back up that. Fun times. Up and down, up and down. So this is a spot called the Gorge. You can kind of see why. It's quite steep down there. Try and get a better look. There we go. It's a long way down. Wouldn't have to walk up that. Looking east from the Mount McKinty Fire Trail. So I've made it to Mount Sunday. That was a long walk. It's taken me 4 hours to get here from Rump Saddle. It's a bit of a roller coaster, just up and down the whole way. No cruising along the ridgeline. It's just, yeah, steep ups and downs the whole way. About to drop down now to Low Saddle. It's not far to go, but I'm looking forward to setting up the tent before these storms hit. You can see the clouds are building all around. I don't think it's going to be a very nice night. And then we'll see how far I get tomorrow. So I could smell some smoke, like fresh, almost tasty smoke coming down from Mount Sunday. And I'm at the Low Saddle campsite, and look what I found. Someone's left a campfire going. I can feel the heat from about a metre away. And look how many people are camped here. That's how bushfires start. Lucky it's been wet.
So it's 20 to 7. I'm here at Low Saddle. Stopped short last night. I was going to try and camp up on the ridge somewhere, but the weather forecast was pretty bad. It's rained non-stop for the last 12 hours. It's bloody wet out there. Wet enough that, you know, my tent peg started pulling out at about 2 or 3 in the morning. I had to go, and I've got a spare peg that's bigger than all the others, so I had to put that in because the ground's just saturated. And when it's been raining this long, my tent starts to get a bit wet on the inside as well, just because it's such a thin tent. So that's been fun. Good thing was, though, rather than walking these 3k's return to water from here, I just put pots out underneath the edge of the tent overnight and fill them up. So I don't have to go get water this morning, which is nice. It's supposed to rain on and off by the looks of things for most of the day, so I'm probably gonna brekkie and just clear out of here. See how far I can get. Just put my coat on, stash my pockets with snack food. See how far I can go before I have to stop. Had a couple of wild dogs rock up just before, which is a bit weird. Just stuck their heads into the campsite to see what was happening, and as soon as I moved, they absolutely bolted, which is good to know. I was a little bit worried about some of the feral animals, but by the looks of things, they're hell of a lot more worried about humans and I need to be at them. Just a bit of caution. Yeah, wasn't a great night's sleep. Constant rain on a tent flies. Yeah, nice for a little bit, but having your tent peg pull out 3 times in an hour is not. I think your tent start to collapse on you. Yeah, fun times.
So left low saddle at 15 minutes ago. It's been, it's just light drizzle now really, or light showers, but it rained for a good 12, 13 hours overnight. So the four-wheel drive track literally has small waterfalls on it. I don't know how fresh this rock slide is, but it can't be that old. A couple of cars went down here yesterday and I think they went on this side, but yeah, there's more up here. There's some trees, fresh trees down too, since they came through yesterday. So with the strong winds and then constant rain, it's made things a bit dicey. I know I wouldn't be driving on it. But yeah, these look, I reckon they're pretty fresh. Looking forward to some views today, but seeing as Mount McDonald's the first treeless summit, according to Mr. Chapman's guidebook. And strangely enough, if this weather holds, I doubt I'm going to see much. Who knows? Still got 2-3 hours of climbing to get there. Might have cleared by then. It's going to be a bit of a struggle going up the hill today. Got 5 litres of water, a wet tent. The pack's not exactly light today, but it means I should be able to camp up high if I need to, without having to go get water, which would be nice. I know there's water at Chester's Yards, so if I can make it to that, that'd be ideal, but who knows. Depends how tired I am later in the day, how hard these climbs are. This is day 9, I think. It's Sunday today. Puts me nearly a quarter of the way through in terms of days. Not quite the distance yet. Hopefully with climbing soon. Looking forward to hitting the Bogong High Plains. A couple of days there. And then into New South Wales where the elevation's, you know, a lot less up and down than Victoria. I found a big leech inside my tent this morning. I have no idea where he attached last night, but I'm sure I'll find out at some stage. I seem to get big welts, like mosquito bites, where I've had leeches. Unfortunately, I've had 2 or 3 in the same spot. And my left Achilles, just above my boot and sock line, has turned into a big welt. This is much fun. Oh, that was a surprise ant bite that I didn't know about. It's a nicely graded 4-wheel drive track this morning. Steep, but nothing like yesterday. And like, it's a long climb up to Mount McDonald, but gradient wise it looks like it averages out to be not too bad. Chapman recommends, I think, 4.5 hours in his book, but I've been taking a good hour off all of his times, clearing the longer sections, so we'll see how we go. About halfway up Mount McDonald now, starting to pull out of the dense scrub and heading towards snow gum territory, or at least the mountain ashes. It's pretty cool, some big rock slabs up here, a bit hard to find the tracking places. It's really just a footpad. Track markers are few and far between, and tend to be where the track's obvious. Go figure. Oh yeah, the boots are absolutely soaked. Been walking through this wet scrub and shit for 3 Ks now, 2 Ks. They're already a bit damp to start the day. Now I can feel it sloshing. Not a nice feeling. He said this is like 4 bore. May as well just walk through a car wash. Hey, track marker. Always a relief in these sections. It's like it's actually still raining, just very lightly, which means it's been going on, I don't know what time it is, but started about 5-6 p.m. last night, hasn't stopped. Must be 9:30, 10 o'clock now. This would be stunning on a clear day. Still not too bad so far. Don't think I'll get the amazing views there. In fact, given how wet I am, I probably want to get off the summit as quickly as possible. Keep moving, try and find a sheltered campsite. Oh, Jesus. This stuff's really slippery too. Wet leaves, wet bark, mossy rocks. Fun and games, if this is your thing. A bit of a view. I keep picking my way along this ridgeline. Sure, the view ain't all stunning. About 2 Ks from Mount McDonald. Still hasn't stopped raining. Well, I guess you'd call this misty drizzle. I'm absolutely soaked. Cold, can't see anything. Should be spectacular today, but it's a bit of just a miserable one. I think I'd shout out with joy if the sun were to come out about now. Yeah, I am soaked through. Just scrub bashing for 4 Ks through wet scrub while raining. I just need a diving dry suit. It's slow going too, picking your way through all this rock. Which doesn't help you stay warm. It's hard work, but it's slow work. The track's pretty indistinct. There's an occasional marker. But these cans are a godsend. Cans and finding old cut tree stumps. It's a pretty sure sign that you're on the right path. Can't think of any other reason there'd be trees cut down up here. Don't think I'd want to be up here in the snow. Or if it was windy. This would have been hell last night. Oh, I can't wait to take my boots off. I just feel the water sloshing. It's disgusting. I think they're going to need to be burnt at the end of this trip, along with all my socks. Either that or boiled in nappy sand or something like that for a couple of days. This stuff is not fun in the wet. Kind of wish I had my my heavy boots for this. Just kick them in between rocks and keep going. These barefoot ones, they're great for letting your toes and stuff spread out and feeling the rocks, but sometimes it's nice just to be able to whack your boot in. Can up the top there, a little bit of a foot pad. Yeah, about 2 k's from the top of Mount McDonald now. Any luck, I might make it to High Cone Camp. It's still pretty early. I think it's only about 10:30. Even a little bit more luck, this cloud will burn off, or at least thin and lift. Just popping out to Mount McDonald now. That's a bitch of a climb. Almost trying to snow, I think. It's kind of like frozen. It's not hail. Maybe it's hail. Right now. Apparently from here there's a track down to the north. I think it goes to Upper Jamison Hut. It's so tempting. I'm gonna see how far I can get before I conk out. It's a pretty stunning spot, even in the cloud. Just feels dicey being up here in this. Just looking for cans down there. I just don't want to accidentally take the track down. If there's a bit of a pad here, so I'm going to follow that. Big can over there. Also, track on this side. Nothing quite like descending in Wet boots. Just squelch. So the weather forecast was clearly wrong today. So it was supposed to be clearing by now. Hasn't stopped. Not for a minute. And that's both the bomb forecast from yesterday for Mount Buller and also the Garmin one this morning. Miserable day. Should have been a highlight in a way. Gonna see the views up here. Oh well. Today I walked from Low Saddle up over Mount McDonald to High Cone Camp. It's rained pretty much all day. In fact, I can still hear drizzle on the outside of the tent, which means it's been raining for nearly 24 hours straight. Maybe half an hour it hasn't been raining. Everything is just damp, miserable, cold. Today was an absolute of a day. Never have I lost the track so many times bushwalking, and given the weather and how tired I am, and I lost the track a few times today. I was seriously concerned I wasn't going to find it again, or be found for that matter. Yeah, today's been a real struggle, and yeah, it was so tempting just to walk down Knob's track and try and hitch a lift out if I found someone. Been writing a journal. I forgot yesterday because so wet, so rainy. And I don't think I'll do one today because again, everything's so wet, but this will do. Today I seriously questioned why I was doing this, and I nearly got myself into a lot of trouble. It's probably the first time I've actually been properly concerned for my safety when I've been out walking. Yeah, I don't know what to say, but I feel like a bit of an idiot. A cold, damp idiot. I miss being home. The thought of just sitting under a nice warm blanket on the couch or having a hot shower. It's just almost too much to bear at the moment. Yeah, if I could pay someone just to take me off this mountain and take me home right now, I reckon I would. It's this is what, day 9? Wind's picking up now. Great. And more rain. Fingers crossed all the poles hold. All the pegs hold, because they didn't last night. Not liking this one bit at the moment. So today was an absolute prick of a day. As I said before, it rained all night long, which is not great. My tent leaks when it rains constantly. It's great for showers, great for lots of things, but the condensation and the rain, yeah. Battled my way up Mount McDonald from Low Saddle. Lost the track constantly once it hit the rock bands near the top, which made it really difficult pushing through scrub. Scrub pushing you back down the hill. Wet scrub too. So I've been absolutely saturated all day. I just feel like nothing is dry today. Made it to top of Mount McDonald, bloody freezing. No view, it's all clagged in.
made my way down, heading towards Knobs Track, and I made a bit of a boo-boo and kept following the ridge north instead of dropping down, and got myself a bit tangled up in the scrub there. It was just, wet trees, wet bark, wet shrubs, wet bush, just everything fighting against you. I think it took me about 25 minutes to do the 100 meters or so back to the track. In the process of doing that, I fell I don't know how many times and snapped a pole. I got there eventually, but my God, that track coming down from Mount Macdonald to Knobs Track could do with a few markers and a bit of a tidy up. Got to Knobs Track, walked along it. The four-wheel drive went past while I was charging up my watch again. Asked if I need anything, and by God, I was tempted to ask him to take me somewhere warm and dry, because it's pretty miserable at the moment. My sleeping bag is damp, so it's not as warm as it should be. I've got pants on underneath, but I reckon I might chuck thermals on under that as well tonight and just put everything I've got on. Big day tomorrow, about 20 something Ks into Velohead Hut. I'd originally hoped to get to Chester's Yard today, but it was very slow going. Frustratingly slow. So hopefully tomorrow's a bit faster. I know there's a lot of vehicle track, and then pretty popular walking tracks, and the weather's supposed to be a lot better. So as long as I can get through tonight, I reckon I'll be okay. I can try and dry stuff off in the hut. Yeah. Never again. So this is High Cone Camp where I stayed last night, and as you can see, the weather today is a hell of a lot better than yesterday. Like, I can see clouds in the sky, maybe 50 k's away. Today, like, my mood is so much better than yesterday. About 20 something k's to walk, but so it's a long day. But there's lots of good things to do on the way. There's a lot of climbing today, but it's all broken up into mountain tops, and then I get to actually enjoy the view at the top and have a break. So my plan is to try and smash out the first 10 k's to Chester's Yard, refill some water, because I carted water up here from Low Saddle yesterday, which probably didn't help. And that's actually in water bottles, not just the water that I was saturated with. It's actually sunny enough to dry some stuff a little bit this morning, which is beautiful. I'm actually warm with just a t-shirt. I got my jacket on, but that's kind of to try and steam it dry a little bit. Yeah. It's beautiful up here. And last night was just silent. There were moments when it was so quiet up here that I actually thought I was unwell. Like I was going to black out or something, because all I could hear was my heartbeat. It was incredible. Really hard to describe what that feels like, but when you're kind of used to hearing the wind in the trees and just birds and like the insects chirping, things like that, then all of a sudden just absolutely nothing. Think, oh, what's happening? You kind of see the knobs up there. Went over the top of that yesterday. Mount Macdonald will be over behind that. Hopefully when I get up to on top of some of these hills, I can have a look around and see where I've been. That'll be cool. Anyway, that's it for now. On top of High Cone now.
That's Mount Skeen back there. I was up there 2 days ago. Rump Saddle's over that way. Looking around, there's the Knobs. Went over that. Behind that is Mount McDonald somewhere. Might just be able to see a little bit on the right hand side there. Go further around. It's beautiful day. So I'm just walking along Square Top. This has been a bit of a scrub bash. Lost the track a few times, but for the most part it's been pretty good. Not quite at the top yet, but it's what's going on. It's open for snakes today. It's either leeches or snakes. You can see Mount Buller, that little bright speck. Pretty sure it's Buller. That might be the fire tower catching the sun. Lots of birds out today. Saw a beautiful looking owl before. Just a little one. Sparrows. Heard a few eagles, a few cockatoos. Just the black. Not sure if they were yellow or red. But black cockatoos. This walking is really nice when you pick up a path like this. Sure, it's uphill. Sure, the pack's heavy. But when you got a view like that, it's pretty special. I hope those clouds hold off. So it's Mount Clear up ahead. That's the next challenge. After that, I think it's pretty cruisy through to Chester's Yard. I'll stop and have lunch. And then from there on to Mount Magdala, and then on to Mount Howard, and then on to the hut tonight. Fingers crossed. It's a long way to go, but a lot of it's on a 4-wheel drive track, so I should be able to make pretty good time on that. For some reason I thought the track went right over the top of Square Top, but it I mean, there is another track that sidles it more, but it's kind of skipping the very top. Which I'm not complaining about. Already doing over 1,000 meters of climbing today, so I'll take whatever. Just walking along the ridge before I drop down off Mount Clear. Beautiful view. That's where I'm heading this afternoon. Pretty sure that's the King Billy's. Pretty much there. Is that the Razor or the Viking over there in the distance? Not 100% sure. Pretty sure Howard's that one over there. So that's the end goal for today. Seems like a long way, so I got to keep on moving. This is really nice walking at the moment. Just through these kind of like snow gums. Thankfully, haven't seen any snakes yet. I'm feeling, even though the sun's out, it might still be a touch on the chilly side for them. I stopped before and had a little bit of a snack. It only took a couple of minutes to actually get cold, even though the sun's out. My legs are pretty sore. That first 6Ks or so today to the top of Mount Clear, I think I did 600 or 700 meters of altitude gain, or elevation gain, but I also did like 400 meters plus elevation loss. It's like straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down, and then straight up again. And so it was pretty damn steep too. A couple of times I lost the track just in the dense scrub. But found it again pretty quickly, which is good. Just looking back where we came from. You only got about another 500-600 meters until I hit a vehicle track. And to be honest, kind of looking forward just to following that and smashing out the Ks for a bit. As nice as this is, it's also nice not to have to think about where you put every foot. It's a long way down there. Yeah, looking back, it was yesterday. That's pretty sure there's mountain skiing away over in the distance and rump saddles just below that. Pretty sure that's Mount McDonald, Mount Clear. I think that's the knobs and high cones hiding, I think. Or maybe it's the knobs that's hiding. One of the two. It's Mount Buller over there. Not sure what these ones over here are. I'm not familiar with that part of Victoria. Anyway, I should keep on moving. Apparently the walking track in this next section is indistinct. Not sure what that's supposed to mean because half of it's pretty bloody indistinct. Whew. Oh well, I guess it's time to drop down. It does say it descends steeply. Pretty bloody steep, if you ask me. So I've just left where come down off the King Billies. I actually walked the road just because I am pushing Ks today. As it is, my GPS is telling me I'm probably going to get to the hut at sunset, right on sunset. I've been up that way before, so if I need to do the last couple of Ks with the torch, so be it. A long day today. It's like close enough to 25 kilometers in the end of it. I've still got a couple of big climbs to go. Whee! It's also bloody slippery. An old sneaky mud puddle. It is nice to be walking on this grass again after just bashing four-wheel drive tracks for the last 4 or 5 Ks. So the mud comes as a surprise in places. I don't want to blow a knee. Starting to get a bit of pain in one of my feet. I think it's just from pushing so hard today and even yesterday coming up over Mount McDonald in that awful weather. It could be to do with a couple of the slips and falls I took yesterday. I reckon seeing it's going to be dry tomorrow, I'll swap out the boots for trail shoes. Give them a bit of a break. And I may boil up a whole bottle of hot water just to kind of relax those sore muscles a bit and also hopefully dry my feet out. because despite the sun today, boots are still wet. Feet could do with a break from it. But just under 9 k's to go to the hut, and I reckon about 2.5 with 3 hours of daylight, if I'm lucky. It's coming into a pretty rugged part of the walk. I mean, not that it wasn't already, but the next couple of days are just across the crosscut saw, the Viking. It's pretty rough country. Haven't been up the Viking before, but I've heard it's quite the challenge. Be looking forward to ticking that one. Ow, ticking that one off. G'day.
How you doing?
Yeah, not bad. Yourself?
Yeah, good.
Good.
It's just walking towards Mount Magdala at the moment. It's just absolutely stunning walking here. Buller over that way. It's crosscut saw. It's tomorrow. Magdala. Now. Yow. That foot's getting sore. Definitely putting the trail shoes on tomorrow. Just about to start descending off Mount Magdala. I've still got at least an hour and a bit into camp, and I've got a feeling I'm going to be doing it with a torch. It's starting to get quite cold up here too. As soon as I stop moving then, I was sweating up a storm on the way up the hill. Clouds come across. Just coming up to a spot now. Just got a spot now called Hell's Window. Scar in the ridgeline. Pretty special at the moment with the sun coming through it.
So yesterday was a big day. Smashed out about 27 kilometres yesterday with about 1,500 metres of elevation gain, maybe a bit more. Really, really long day. Beautiful walking though. Like great weather for it and everything. Finally some sun. It's actually quite nice again today, but I'm exhausted from yesterday. My poor legs, they've had enough. And I've got a full pack today. So just do a pretty short one across the crosscut saw today. And I'll stop at Camp Creek. It's only about 8 or 9 k's. So nice easy walking. Nice late start. Just taking my time. Slept in here at Leo Gantner Hut last night. You can see the window behind me. It's great. A clear night. You can see all the stars. It was a nice way to go to sleep. Yeah. Lots of mice. Deciding to get into rubbish and stuff, which kind of broke up the sleep a little bit, but it's their house too. Yeah, so it's been pretty good so far. A little bit nervous about the next couple of days. Possible showers, I think, tomorrow. Then I'm heading across the Viking on Thursday. Pushing as far into the barriers as I can on Thursday afternoon. and Friday across the Barries, and then Saturday into Hotham. Oh shit, sorry. Just noticed this guy on my leg. I'm gonna get rid of that. I don't know if it's one that will make me itchy or not. So, see you all next time. So I'm just walking along the crosscut saw now. It's a little bit cloudy. Beautiful views though. See Mount McDonald way over. That was 2 days ago. Mount Howard just to the left. Bullers over that way. Mount Cobbler, Mount Speculation. That's the Razor. That's the Viking. Then the Barry Mountains in there somewhere. Over towards Hotham in a couple of days. Starting to run a little bit low on battery and the power bank. So there's going to be less videos and talking than I hoped, because I need to keep some for navigation and charge up all the GPSs and stuff. Anyway, beautiful day, stunning place. Wouldn't want to be here in bad weather. Just looking at the logbook before, there's about 25 people that have gone past VG Hut. That's north and southbound that have actually stopped at the hut and filled in the logbook. I mean, there's obviously more than that, but that's in the last year. Only 25 in that logbook. So it'll be interesting to have a look at some of the other ones later on. See if there's other names to recognise. It's good to stay in a hut overnight. Chance to dry a little bit. Possible showers later into tomorrow. Hoping they're only really light, because I don't want to be dragging wet gear, along the Razor and up the Viking if I can help it. Already got to carry extra water to Catherine or the Viking saddle. Anyway, that'll do for now, I think. So I've just made it to the top of Mount Speculation. It's pretty cool being up here. Well, not quite the top, but close enough. The top's just over there. So it's a cool spot to see where I've been. Over there in the clouds, Mount McDonald, and going across Mount Clear, Mount Magdala, Mount Howard. The springs are over in there. And across the crosscut saw, up this really steep ridge to the top here. Down there is the Viking. Funnily enough, it looks a lot less intimidating from this angle. Though I've been told getting to Mount Despair on the way to Viking Saddle is head high scrub, which is pretty gross. It's pretty beautiful up here. It's kind of tempting to set up camp high, but I just don't know what the weather's going to do overnight. So I'm going to head down. So I've just reached Catherine Saddle. I made pretty good time this morning. It's only taken me an hour to get here, less than an hour to get here from Camp Creek. So my plan is to bash over Mount Despair now, get down to Viking Saddle, and if I make it there by midday or 12:30, I will crack at getting over to Barry Saddle this afternoon. I have heard there's pretty bad scrub, but chuck the GPS on, see what I can do. It's been pretty nice so far. This is the bit I'm concerned about for the next 10 Ks or so. Anyway, see what happens. So I'm heading up Mount Despair at the moment, and this is the scrub.
can see the tracks there. It's hiding. Just heading along the ridge towards the Razor and towards Viking Saddle. And there's the Viking. So hopefully that'll be this afternoon. Making good time so far. About an hour ahead of where I thought I'd be. So pretty happy so far. We'll see how this ridge line goes. So I just had lunch at Viking Saddle. I got here a good hour before I thought I would. Before my kind of cut-off time to make it over the top. So I'm going to push on to Barry Saddle and try for a long day, and then it's a couple of shorter ones into Hotham, which will be nice. It's a big climb now, so hope it goes well. So I'm just about to reach the cliffs at the Viking. Spent about half an hour coming up from the saddle. Pretty bloody steep. So there's a couple of routes here. One is traditional chimney. The other I think is a gully, which is a bit easier. I'm going to suss them out. Didn't have any issues yesterday on going up speculation. So I guess we'll see what the rock scramble's like on this. Here's a little climbing chimney. I reckon I'm just going to give it a crack. Doesn't look too bad. Short and sweet. Scramble up the top. Shouldn't be too bad at all, I don't think. It's just coming down from the Viking. Absolutely stunning. There's a Razor over there. And to spare. Push on. Here at Barry Saddle, about to head off for South Selwyn today. Got half a day ahead yesterday coming over the Viking. Made really good time getting from Camp Creek to Catherine Saddle and then on to Viking Saddle. So I pushed on. Smashed out the day in about, I think, 6 hours of walking, maybe 7 tops, which is a lot less than suggested in the guidebook. I don't know if it was just, you know, walking by myself or pushing it or just wanting to knock off the Viking. It's one of those mountains I've always been a little bit kind of dubious and anxious about, having heard some stories about it in the past and how difficult that climb up can be. But yeah, so now I'm half a day ahead, so I've got a couple of semi-leisurely days through the Barry Mountains now. Here at Barry Saddle, and yeah, heading off. So yesterday I walked from Barry Saddle up to South Selwyn. Wasn't too bad, about 17k, I think 17-18 k's walking. Fair bit of elevation gain though, which I wasn't quite expecting. It was a kind of bit of a roller coastered sort of day, up and down constantly. A lot of it on fire tracks, which is kind of nice. But South Selwyn track, between Van Dams and East Riley Road, it's getting pretty overgrown in places. The sun was out yesterday, so I was on constant lookout for snakes. Didn't see any snakes. Did get attacked by leeches, funnily enough. Copped a few of those again. I've got very itchy legs because of it. Yeah, the walk from East Riley Road, most of the way to South Selwyn was pretty good, but then the final kick up the hill was a bit of a pain in the neck. It's good that there's a water tank up the top here though. Nice campsite, perfectly still night, perfectly still morning for that matter. It's beautiful. The sun's just starting to filter through the trees a bit. Just taking my time today because I'm only going to the Twins tank. According to the guidebook, it's about 6 hours, 6.5 hours walking. So, you know, I've generally been faster than the guidebook by about 20%. So I reckon probably 5 hours walking. It's going to be nice and sunny today, so I might actually have to get the sun hat and sunnies out. A lot of today is road bash, which is good. Well, boring, but good. Nice just to get the Ks in.
And then it's into Hotham tomorrow, which feels really weird that I've nearly been out here for tomorrow will be 15 days. It's 14 days now since I left Walhalla. Walked nearly 200 k's, which is it's a fair way. I'm very much looking forward to a shower tomorrow. And washing my clothes and my socks, especially the socks. Switched over to the trail shoes now that I'm on kind of fire trails a lot more. They're a lot more comfortable. But now I can just I just smell my boots. They're strapped to the outside of my pack to try and dry out. And every time I stop, it's kind of like the smell cloud catches up with me, which isn't much fun. I didn't sleep too well last night. I don't know if it was the smell of my boots or if I've got a feeling I may have acted like I thought the ground was level, but I reckon my head was slightly lower than my feet. I just kept kind of feeling weird. So I woke up for about 2 hours in the middle of the night and couldn't get back to sleep, and then was up again at dawn. So I'm feeling pretty wrecked today. Yesterday kind of took it out of me as well. Just the constant elevation gain, the up and down yo-yo nature of yesterday didn't really help things much. Some pretty steep climbs too. So hopefully today is a little bit gentler. There's not quite as much elevation gain, I don't think, or similar, but it looks like most of it's on fire trails and not quite so steep. I hope. A lot less elevation loss. So we'll see how we go. So I just had a rest day in Mount Hotham. Went down to Bright. Had Jacinta up here for the night as well, which was really good. It's very hard this afternoon. We had a really nice day together, and last night too. Went out, watched the sunset. Went down to Bright this morning, had brunch, wandered around, did a few things. A few of the autumn leaves. Came back up, had a nice lunch outside. Then it was pretty much time for her to go. It was really hard. There's a few things I've learnt on this trip. We were talking about it last night while we had dinner down at Dinner Plain. And that, I've learnt how strong I can be. So far this is the hardest thing physically and potentially even like emotionally that I've done. Just the constant pushing myself to go further and to make it to next camp and pushing through the physical pain and all that sort of stuff. Understanding that this is probably the biggest challenge I've ever had, and so if I can do this, I can pretty much do anything. But I think the hardest part, having a rest day and just a chance to actually let everything catch up a bit, was actually seeing Jacinta go this afternoon. I'm a pretty independent person most of the time, but I was quite upset. It's a little bit lonely. Off I go for another 2 and a bit weeks. It's funny, the first couple of days of this trip went really slowly. They were awful. And then it kind of really kicked off and getting close to the next milestone and getting here. And I feel like tomorrow might, the next couple of days might, going to be nice walking, but they might drag a bit too. For that same reason that it's a long time until I potentially see anyone, for that matter, going to some pretty remote country after the next 3 or so days. Hope to get to Omeo Highway in about 4 days. Taylor's Crossing in 5 or 6. And pick up my food drop after that. And then it's on to Threadbow a week later. Which would be cool. It's a new place for me to explore, but having the comfort of people I care about and love around made it pretty hard to actually look forward to the next week because it's just been such a nice time. Having that support there, I can do so much stuff independently, but it's funny, it makes me realize how much I actually do rely, not even rely, but like how much better having someone around that cares about you makes things. It's taken me a while to realize that. Like, I've been away before on other trips, but always in contact, like daily contact. Having these long stints of time apart and not even be able to chat it's a bit harder. So I say absence makes the heart grow fonder, and it's definitely true in this case. So even though it's only been about 2 hours, I'm looking forward to Sunday, 14 days time. Feels like a really long way away, but I know it'll go pretty quickly once I get into it again. Yeah. So off to Riders Yards tomorrow. About 25 k's of walking. One big-ish climb, but nothing compared to what I've done over the last few weeks. Hopefully down to either Big River or even up to Madison Hut site the next day. It's another long one with a big climb. So I'll see how we go with that one. Then I'm going to try and push for Mount Wills. And then I reckon I'm going to try and go from Mount Wills and get as close to Taylor's Crossing as possible. And maybe even try and throw in a rest day there, which would be nice. Yeah, anyway, that's all for now.